Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope again. Thanks for all the support and the continued love on the page. Continue to do so. I want to discuss um, an old subject, but it was something that I thought was important to discuss as far as building skin in the game or building up your career in the game as far as whatever you're doing. So whether you're working, you know, at a library or you're trying to sign a movie deal or you're trying to get on a team or you're trying to join a club or join, just anything that you're trying to do in life that you feel like you're passionate about and you want to bet on yourself and you want to expand. So there's a phrase that always stuck with me throughout the last couple of years. I wish I had heard this phrase a long time ago, but it's the phrase, don't miss the boat waiting for the yacht. So in other words, don't miss on an opportunity trying to look for a bigger one when you have an opportunity right in front of you to show your skill, to show who you are, to show your abilities. A lot of times people want to get the big payday right up, but no, it's about being able to get an opportunity to build yourself. Um, so I'm trying to build what I'm doing now. Trying to learn the craft, being able to get to where I can get to and then expand on it. I don't expect instant gratification. So that being said, Chris Tucker talked about, and I believe it's a platform called Afrotech. He said he was only paid $10,000 for the first Friday movie, but he said it wasn't about the money; it was about the opportunity. And I think that's what a lot of people miss nowadays. It's not about what you can get from it, but what you can show to other people to get to where you want to go to. Because, like I said, Chris Tucker, that was his first movie where he actually starred, uh, had a co-starring role, so he didn't have much leverage anyway. But that's not the point. The point is whether he had the leverage or not. If he had the leverage, they would offer him more, of course. But like I said, the movie budget for the first Friday movie was only $2.5 to $3 million. It ended up grossing over 27 million worldwide. But like I said, nobody expected that movie to do what it did and to become what it became as a cult classic for the black community mostly. Whether you are a smoker or not, most people love that movie. It has so many classic lines, so many classic characters. People dress up for the characters on Halloween every year, up until this day, and that was back in '95 when that movie released. So they probably shot the movie back in '94. But he said it only took a month to record that movie, and like I said, they only had a budget of shortly under $3 million. So for what that movie did and for what they expected of it, it did way more successful. It grossed, it profited 9 times the amount of the budget. So anytime you even double the budget, that's amazing. But if you get 9 times the budget, that makes that shows that you did more with less, and you were able to be so productive with less. So kudos to Ice Cube and the cast for being able to come out with that movie and be so successful. And another thing to note, it was Ice Cube's first movie as a writer. He had been an actor before, on Boys in the Hood and stuff like that, but this is the first movie he actually wrote and produced. He hasn't directed, I think, only one movie at Players Club, and he directed a couple of TV shows. But for mostly, he stays out of directorial part. He's a writer and a producer. So um, so he didn't have much leverage as well. He didn't probably understand the business as much. And people accused him of being a thief. But like I said, they didn't know the business. Like I said, it was his first time doing a movie. He didn't know. He just knew that he wanted to put out a film. He had a great idea and he executed it so well on it. And it kind of showed um the Straight Outta Compton movie. It showed him kind of, pitching the idea to his wife and telling her what she thinks about it. And he did it on a laptop, which was crazy back then. I didn't really know laptops was out, mostly typewriters, but he was, writing up the movie himself. He co-wrote the movie with DJ Pooh, and it was directed by F. Gary Gray, which he came out to be a legendary producer as well. Director as well. So, like I said, they expected to Chris Tucker kind of talked about the role, and he said he only made 10,000. But Ice Cube kind of explained, like, hey, the first movie it did more than we expected, so we were gonna pay him more on the second movie. They said they expected to pay him anywhere from 10 to 12 million dollars for the second movie. But of course, Chris Tucker, sorry, didn't do the second movie because of religious reasons. Because he said on the second one, he kind of found Christ and dedicated himself to Christ. So he didn't want to smoke, smoke weed on TV, and he didn't want to cuss anymore. So he went to the Rush Hour movies. So it ended up doing even better than the 10 to 12 million. So I love Chris Tucker's mentality when it comes to the pay because, like I said, you have to build your rapport up, you have to build up your leverage. And like I said, he never had a co-starring role before, so they didn't know what he was about and how he was going to be received. And obviously, he was received well in all the movies he did. He kind of limited himself, rightfully so, due to his religion, because I believe he could have did so much more. Could have did more Friday movies and made tons of money and become a star. But like I said, your path is your path. The path is divine. So I think a lot of times, a lot of people kind of try to make their own path other than what your true path is. But I think he followed his path and was able to live with it because of his religion. And like I said, you're going to be off this earth more than you're going to be on it. So it's about the after, what you're able to do. But Chris Tucker wasn't, there were other people who had, kind of, complained about the money and stuff like that. You had Faison Love and talking about he didn't do the second movie because he didn't get paid enough for the first one. Chris Tucker kind of said the same thing, but jokingly. But I think it really was just due to the script and how he was going to have to be on set to make it a successful movie. And for what he was doing at the time, he didn't think it was going to work. So, but Faison Love, like I said, Ice Cube said they recorded in 30 days. Faison Love was, filmed for a day or two because he was at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie and a little bit in the middle of the movie. So it's not like he had a huge role anyway. But he said he was only paid like $2,500 to do the movie. But he was a cameo mostly. Chris Tucker did the whole movie and made 12 grand. You're not going to get anything close to that just from a couple of scenes. But like I say, he went on to do another movie after he rejected the second Friday, and he was actually he said he made $100,000 off the next movie that he got. So I mean, it turned out right for him too. Michael Blackson kind of said the same thing after he played on Next Friday. He complained about I think he posted his royalty check, and it was like a couple cent. It might have been under $1. And he talked about that, but I don't know if he was too serious. I think he might have been happy about the opportunity, but just making a joke. He's pretty jokeful, so I don't think he was serious about being mad at Ice Cube or anything. Like I said, man, Ice Cube, kudos to Chris Tucker and Ice Cube, but definitely kudos to Ice Cube as well, just for giving people opportunities. Because, like I said, somebody commented to Ice Cube and said Ice Cube is about opportunities, but he's out here robbing our own people. And he responded like, "Hey, I didn't rob anybody. This was what the budget had, and this is what the budget allowed. This is just part of the business." And I feel Ice Cube on that because he gave a lot of people opportunities, and a lot of times we equate opportunities with money, and it's not always that way. Um, he gave people opportunities in his movies, whether it be Chris Tucker, Mike Epps, Terry Crews, Michael Blackson, Lisa Ray. He gave her only solo movie that she had that was the biggest movie, which was his first movie he wrote, directed, and was an actor in. And also Cat Williams, after Chris Tucker, got the 12,000 for the first Friday movie, he went on to do Rush Hour and made the first one he made, they said around $3 million. And then for the second and third Rush Hours, he made it $20 million a piece for both of those movies. So he went on to make, close to $50 million off of 3 movies that he did after he left Friday. So he had the opportunity through Friday because people people saw him as a comedian, and he was able to parlay that into a franchise, the Rush Hour franchises. And not to mention he was on Money Talks and a couple other things. But yeah, it's and then Mike Epps, he went on to do stand-up comedy, movies. He's a big stand-up comedian. He's able to tour every year, make his money touring on the road, appearances on the Breakfast Club and all these other platforms, and have his platform out there. He was in All About the Benjamins as well with Ice Cube after that movie, so Ice Cube still gave him opportunities after the fact. Terry Crews, he's known, he's more culturally known now. He kind of crossed, over with the White Chicks movie, but he got the White Chicks movie opportunity because of Next Friday. Same as Cat Williams, he was on that movie and he became a great stand up comedian, one of my top 5 comedians of all time. And he was able to play in movies as well. And lastly, Michael Blackson, he played in other movies as well, got on platforms, and does stand up comedy. Sometimes he was doing it with Mike Epps as well and Cat Williams. So he gave a lot of black comedians opportunities and just the ability to make money outside of him for people to see them as these comedians, because artists like Cat Williams were out for years before doing stand-up comedy, but he wasn't exposed to that light that Ice Cube was able to give them. Ice Cube started off as a rapper, but he expanded into the movie sector, and he wanted to diversify himself, and he's one of the first artists I think to do that. So it's definitely a little Ice Cube appreciation section within this Chris Tucker section. So like I said, don't miss the boat waiting on the yacht. If it's an opportunity in front of you, take the opportunity for what it is and being able to parlay that into other things. Because first, before you actually get the accolades, you have to put in the work to show that you are able to do it. NBA players don't come into the league say, "Oh, I want to make $100 million right now," and you haven't stepped foot on the court. You might get that from a shoe deal without stepping on the court, but on the court, you're going to have to get these all NBAs. You're going to have to get some MVPs, some playoff success. You're going to have to be able to put that work in. And being able to get drafted is that opportunity. So when it's your opportunity to get drafted, make sure you make the best out of it. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Urban Scope podcast. I'll see you next time.